Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in this world. This is Agent Lee with an update for gold. I'm bearish on gold. I have been for a good while. And I just want to update the count on the Elliott waves on how I see the primary degree of trend continuing for the next few years. I think what's quite obvious is the impulse count. I'm using a semi-log chart, weekly time frame. The impulse count shows that the correction that followed was requisite. Elliott wave states that after 5 waves are placed, there is an unavoidable requisite correction that appears in the form of 3 waves. I call it the family of threes, or the clan of threes, the corrective clan. And that 3-wave swing is what I'm showing here as an ABC. And that subwave composition of the 3-wave swing I'm calling as a zigzag. And the zigzag has what's called a 5-3-5 subwave composition. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how wave A subdivides into an impulse. Now for wave B there is more than one way to count it, but it still belongs to the family of threes. In this case, it's a little different how I label wave B compared to what I've done in the past as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nested series of 1, 2s, where we had 1, 2, 1, 2 of 3, and 1, 2 of 3 of the higher degree of trend. In this case, I wanted to make it a lot more simpler visually and from an Elliott wave count perspective. So we have A, B, C, D, E triangle. An A, B, C, D, E triangle is most often found as a penultimate sequence of events. That's why I would say almost always is found as the sequence favored by wave 4 of an impulse sequence, thereby being penultimate to 5. So in this case, wave B can also generate and have an ABCDE triangle pattern sequence. And in this case, an Elliott wave triangle looks more like a barrier triangle, where the top line is more horizontal. Now, many chart pattern recognition people, if they solely rely on just patterns, would say, oh, this is really bullish, I'm seeing an ascending right triangle. That is an alternate count, absolutely. That is possible. It's on the table, but it's more distant alternate than anything else. The reason is because I'm seeing the trend as still being down, and this is pure consolidation. What is this triangle doing? It's going sideways. When you have a primary degree of trend, the price is going sideways, it's purely a consolidation, continuation pattern for the next leg down. And this 5, the 3 for B, is not exactly a 3, but it belongs and is composed of 3, 3, 3, 3, 3s. Typically you would have an ABC, but in this case we've got an ABCDE. Great. Doesn't matter. It's not important to be a stickler to what is the correct Elliott wave count. I assure you that will not increase your net liquidity balance value of your account on your trading. What is important is to identify what the trend and the directional likelihood of that price trend is going to be. And I think this ABC sequence By the way, I had shown this to a psychoanalyst, a good while back. I think when we were here, and I gave him my projection, or we maybe here, and I was telling him we were on a 5-wave decline, and that the correction is just starting, and he was a gold bug to the extreme, I guess, and I was told to put this into the trash because it doesn't work. Well, I disagree. So if we have the 5, A, B, C, D, E, the B wave complete, and the E subwave of the B sitting on the top trend line, that has bearish connotations. That tells me that the price has greater affinity to the downside, to the trend, than to the upside. That means that we're going to complete the next 5 subwaves, which will likely go something in this direction. And if this is correct, this will flabbergast, shock, into utter disbelief the gold bugs out there. And the reason why I'm targeting this level is because the correction, requisite correction, usually reaches towards the prior wave 4. And that's sitting at 682. So this is a log chart. If you look at the linear chart, wave 5 is extended. Now it'll go to wave 2. But this time I'm presenting it as a semi-log. And this ABC sequence is just about finished, if not already. This continuation sequence of the B wave of a ABCDE triangle. And the price, once it breaks the lower white trend line, once it goes, and if it goes, I believe it will, below 1196 decisively, maybe a 1 full bar week below it, we've got probably a retrace back to the line, to the underbelly side of the line without bleaching it back inside, and then 3, 4, and 5. So next several years, to me, would be quite bearish. This would be totally invalidated if this was a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we just rise. But I don't think so. Possible, but to me, possible and probable are not the same. Okay, I hope you found this to be helpful.